This is a piece of 22 standard wall. And I will blow and work a piece that's this size and smaller. Once it gets any bigger, I put a blow tube or a punny pipe up to it so that the amount of trapped gases that are in the tube can mix a little bit of unburnt gases in there, and you can have red hot glass and you blow against it and it's going to backfire. Well, it'll backfire at this, and if you build the wrong structure, it'll backfire like a cannon. So as a beginner, maybe blowing on pulled points, or I like the idea of using a blow tube. A lot of people use 9.5. It's a little bit heavier, works real well, and it's sturdy. That's cool. I can set it down. Now I'm going to do a little trick here. I'm going to open the tube. When I fire cut this, it's closed at that end. Oh, I want to keep this end down while I'm heating to pull this apart. And then as fast as I swing it around, it didn't quite do it. It blows a bubble. Rod holder in business. That much of an angle makes the heat go out the end, makes your gradients be less of a problem. And water break-off bucket. Oh, I see it. So if I heat the air inside here just a little bit and go there, I had positive pressure inside and it blew a little hole there. Made it real easy to tear off. Okay, and we'll just use. So I'll warm my tool. And I steady rested on the marver. And I'm lifting and turning. You can stabilize your reamer tip like down here on the inside, and then when you lift, you're going to get a nice control. Now with heavy wall, it stays hot longer. You actually get a nicer flare than you do off the standard. And I tend to just put the whole thing in there and give it a turn. I'm going to shrink that down just a hair. This being the hottest end, I'm going to put it up so it doesn't get stresses and catch a crack right there. I'm going to fume silver on this, but I'm going to blow it out a little bit. Just want to make a sphere. Oh, when you're heating a piece of tubing, if you heat the end first and you see that glow go through, that sent a signal through the whole piece of glass that radiant energy's coming, and glass likes radiant energy. So always try to heat whatever on the end and see that signal go through. That's going to reduce the number of cracks and things you'll have. unless it's a stressed piece of glass. If you've got a piece of glass that just keeps cracking, throw it in the kiln and anneal it. If it's a piece of heavy wall tube or something, like I buy some of the Chinese import glass tubing, like the cobalt and charcoal, and if I anneal those, cut them into sections that I'm going to use, and then anneal them, they work fine. But if you try to take that tubing and just stick it in the flame, it goes pop, pop, pop all over the place. So I want to have just the smallest amount of yellow visible on my inner cone. And I'm going to come up from underneath, and I'm going to offer the silver to the point of the blue cone. And then I'm going to wave this out in front, and you'll see little sparks floating on the flame like it's a waterfall, and there's the silver. And that makes some of the best color right there. But I'm going to add even more. But before I go back in the flame, I'm going to call capping, and I'm going to put my thumb over the end and come into the flame, and it just popped a hole for me. And I'm going to fume some of the silver on the inside of that tube too. I'm going to go a little sharper flame because I want to push it in there. But as thin as that was, it had silver coating both sides. Now I'm getting a lot more concentrated color than I did with just filings. I'll keep tearing that open. Now I'm going to do a shortcut for getting the air bubbles out of here, because there's several. Just give it a good squeeze. Air bubbles will appear as white hot spots. Sometimes the point of the flame will just pop them out. But bubbles want to come to the surface. So there's a bright spot, that's a bubble. It folded away and collapsed, there's one. And you can see all the kind of little wisps in there already. This will need refined down one. The more careful you are, the less bubbles you get in it. And so when I stretch this out, it's going to have a bunch of little bumps in it. That'll be where your bubbles are. Bubbles act as an insulator. Heat doesn't get through to the other side of a bubble. But once a bubble's small enough, it's not going to produce near as much stress as a bigger one. Further from the surface, the less stress it's going to create. And a couple blends and this will be a lot more uniform. But in this process, it makes the bubbles get smaller. And about now, the beginners are saying, oh, my arms are tired. No, both hands are working right now. We've got to get to the beatniks posed here. Get down to one hand in a minute. So it's like chewing bubble gum on chopsticks and you blend the color. But it starts looking really good, just like that. And now I'm going to need a punny. Now I want a little more parallel mash than what I got out of that tool, so I'm going to use my graphite here. Yeah, I got a free hand. Hey. Go in there and try to pop a lot of those bubbles with the center fire point. Thank you. I also believe in heating your glass enough that it relaxes. And that gets a lot of stress out of it. Excuse me. Oh, cough in the flame. For real. That's the best place. If there's anything going, it's gone. I just want to make the shape a little longer. I'm going to turn this into a tiny pendant. Then we'll get to look at the color in a few minutes. A little bit too big a flame, changed its shape. Oh. Oh, I'm open for questions at times too, because sometimes I forget what to say. That's going to look pretty cool. And gravity's your best friend and worst enemy. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So that's a pretty good cold seal. And I just dog-legged it around like a bridge, basically. Tool a fellow in Eugene makes called the Handy Andy. And it really is. It's for making pendant loops. Pretty much I haven't found any other reason to use it unless you're just making a hole in something. Hot glass. Andy Ray. Couple pieces of tungsten opposite each other. Yeah, one's pointed and one's like a flathead screwdriver. And with tungsten, what you do is you go to a flame that you can see enough yellow in that you don't make the metal get shiny. But you want to see it get hot. There it is. It's glowing out here in this softer flame. And am I getting it hot enough? There it goes. It's going through the glass. Now I can take the piece of glass and go like that. A little bigger flame, but the same kind of softness. And presto, there I'm ready to go and fire polish my other little spot. We'll toss that in the box.